What's going on, guys? Spartan Willie here, and welcome to another Football Manager 2021 video. Now, about 5 days ago now, Football Manager released a video on their YouTube channel called New Headline Features. That will be linked down in the description so you can have a look at that yourself, but this video is going to be based about that and a bunch of articles they've just posted on their Twitter. If you haven't seen the video, they talked about the 4 new headline features that are going to be added into FM21, presented by none other than Spencer Owen or Spencer FC, which is funny because I've been watching a bit of his content lately. They've also backed this video up with 4 articles posted on their Twitter, which got released this morning. So everything you need to know about these new features will be in this video. So the 4 headline features are Interaction, Matchday, Recruitment, and End of Season. So we're going to go through these one by one, and I'll give you all the relevant details matching each feature. So kicking off with our first one is Interaction. So apparently they've been contacting real managers and people in the football world to get a sense of what it's like to be in the football world. So they're trying to create an immersive experience for us in the Football Manager universe. So the first thing they're going to add is gestures. So this is replacing sort of the tone system. You know, it used to be aggressive or assertive or cautious. So here are a few gestures that I've managed to spot throughout the trailer and the articles. Smile warmly, throw a water bottle, point fingers, hands in pockets, shake head, outstretched arms, and open arms, and of course no reaction. So they are all the gestures that I've seen, but more could be added come release date. Next up in Interaction is Quick Chats. This is a direct quote from SI. Quick Chats replicate a sort of short, informal interactions that don't need a full meeting or press conference. For example, you might have a remote quick chat with a journalist who's trying to get the inside story on a transfer rumor surrounding your club, or you'll have an in-person quick chat with a player to praise them for how they're performing in training, or if you want them to actively look for a new club. Now, gestures of course carry over into quick chats, so if you're welcoming a player to a club, you'll be open armed. If you're telling a player that maybe they need to leave the club, you'll be a bit more closed off, maybe with crossed arms or something. Or if you're angry at a player for missing an open goal, hopefully you can throw a water bottle at them. Another cool feature is that you can check in with lone players with quick chats. So remotely, you can give them a bit of a Zoom call, and outstretched arms, say how are you buddy? Next up is the press conferences. Now SI have actually said players will not want to send their assistant to press conferences with this new feature, which I think is a big call. I personally did every press conference, but I know some players just delegated the whole thing, but I'm hoping this year, because you answer the same questions every week. But anyway, so this is another direct quote. Before you head in to face the waiting media, you'll be given a briefing by your press officer as part of the pre-press conference news item. This briefing will list any notable journalists in attendance, the expected topics of discussion, and most important of all, any topics that your press officer either wants you to expand upon or avoid. End quote. The new role of press officer will then join you in the press conference, and you'll be joined occasionally by a team leader or captain, which is pretty cool. Gestures of course will carry over into press conferences, and they've added more variety and context to questions and answers. So questions will be explained, and there'll be new questions and new answers, which the game direly needed. After the press conference, the press officer will give you a summary on how you went. So this will include any notable highlights, changes with relationships, and how you dealt with discussion topics that you were advised to avoid. So the final topic in Interaction is face-to-face conversation. So this is a direct quote from SI. Let's say you're meeting to discuss a playing time with a first team player who feels like they're not getting enough minutes on the pitch. In FM21, they may look to bring in their agent into the meeting with you, while you might have your assistant or director of football sitting beside you. There'll also be a meeting summary provided at the end of the meeting so you can see how it went, any changes in relationship, any promises made, I'm assuming, and stuff like that. Also, 3D backgrounds have been expanded to bring a sense of realism into the interactions. So the next headline feature is Matchday. So there are 6 main topics in Matchday: the pre-match build-up, the team talk, broadcast interviews, in-match presentation, animation and graphical improvements, and the XG and post-match reaction. So this is a direct quote from the article. Note, we're not talking today about the changes to the Match AI. Of course there are a lot of improvements there, but we'll show some of those off with the videos before release. So for all those who are calling for changes to the match engine and are boycotting the game because they're not changing the match engine, there you go. So let's get back to what they have announced. So in the pre-match build-up, there will be a tactical meeting, which has been in the game for a while now, I think. But now you must submit your first team in that tactical meeting. You can review your opponent's expected lineup, and you can get a summary on how your players reacted to the team selection and any instructions you set. Once you arrive on match day, you'll be presented with unexpected team news from the opposition. Your press officer will also provide highlights of the reactions from social media regarding the team selection. Next topic is the team talk. So of course the gesture system carries over, and we have been told that we can hurl water bottles across the room when we're losing 3-0 at half time. There's also been an extra time team talk added, so you can talk to your players before extra time, and penalties, so you can see how each of your players' body language is before a penalty shootout. You know, if they're being a bit nervous, maybe put them last in the pecking order, and put your calm and confident guys up first. Next up is the broadcast interviews. So TV matches will now have a chance of having a pre-match broadcast interview, and there's also a chance of there being one after the match as well. Of course, our gesture system will carry over. That's a common pattern we're seeing here. This gesture system will be all over the game, so I'm hoping it's good. The in-match presentation. So this is a direct quote. When the players step out onto the pitch, you'll immediately see a significant step up in FM's 21's pre-match presentation elements. End quote. So all graphics have been refreshed, all the menus have changed. There's a new dugout menu that will help with managing the players, and it'll just be a general, more like TV, real-life experience. So animations and graphical improvements. Weather and night graphics have been improved. All animations have been improved. They've really fixed the animation blending. Stadiums will look better too, and there'll be a support for HDR for higher spec systems, and the whole game's been optimized for lower end systems too. Well, graphically it's been optimized. Now finally is XG and post-match reaction. This is something that I'm really keen about. So this is a direct quote. As well as having more data and analytics at your fingertips before a match, there are now a number of new stats that can be tracked during a game too. We'll cover most of these in the coming weeks, but there's one we want to focus on here. XG, or expected goals, to give it its full name. End quote. So SI have made their own XG system with the help of Sci Sports, who work with real football clubs around the world. Your press manager will also give you a social media reaction of your results. But going back to XG, so XG, or expected goals, its Google definition is: expected goals measures the quality of a shot based on several variables such as an assist type, shot angle, and distance from goal, whether it was a headed shot and whether it was defined as a big chance. So I'm excited to see how SI have developed and Sci Sports have developed an XG system with their match engine. So that'll be very good to see. Overall, SI looking to improve the immersion and experience of Matchday. So our penultimate headline feature is recruitment. Now I'm going to read out the statement that's in bold writing on this article. So quote, FM21 modernizes a club's recruitment process, bringing it more in line with the way things work behind the scenes in real life. End quote. So the 4 subheadings that are used in this headline feature is recruitment meetings, new recruitment roles, realistic market, and agent interaction. So we'll start off with recruitment meetings. So these meetings will look at weak points of your team and give you a focus for the transfer window. They will come up with a plan, and you, the manager, can make any changes, and the scout will present you with some options. So your recruitment team will look at your team, send you what they think, and then you can make any last minute adjustments. So to give an example of how I think it would work, is they'll say, you know what, our left back's 34 and is looking at retiring soon, so I think we need a new left back. And they would send you a new left back, and then you could say, alright, we'll have a new left back, but I want them to be English and under 23. And then they'll go out, search for some players, and bring you back a bunch of options. So these recruitment meetings are held about a month before the transfer window, and a catch-up meeting with a week to go in the window. Recruitment meetings will also be held when you first join a club to catch you up. New recruitment roles is our next subheading. So there'll be a new analyst that has been added for turning raw data into data reports that you can actually analyze and look at improving your tactics. Recruitment and analytics have been split up into recruitment and match. So it used to be all in one. It used to be just the scouting team. Now I believe they're 2 different teams. Analytics will now look over potential transfers and find any alarming stats. So if you're looking at signing a striker who looks really good on paper, but then your analytics look at it and go, hang on, everyone's getting a lot of goals in this team because there's this like former legend assister getting him in the best spots. I don't know, I have no idea, but I don't know, that's just an example I thought of. Anyway, moving on to the next one is realistic market. So this is a direct quote because there's not much, they haven't really given anything about this, but this is a direct quote. Recruitment also sees updates to the transfer markets that managers operate in. Drew see real-life changes within an ever-adapting game. FM21 introduced these refinements to react to the financial uncertainty in today's transfer marketplace world, and new behaviors that are developing as a result. There'll be more details about this in a future in-game COVID effects blog, end quote. So that's massive. So they're going to look at implementing COVID effects in the game, which I heard that they was going to completely ignore it, but I'm actually really happy. They're focusing so much on real world football this game. It's going to be a completely different game. What they have told us about the realistic market is loan deals can now be signed outside the window, but of course you must wait for the window to open before they can join you. So it's just like a range of a loan move outside a window. Now the last subheading of recruitment is agent interaction. So this has been another massive feature that they've used. So now you can talk to an agent before a bid goes in to try and drum up interest. This can help with gauging a transfer easier with getting wage expectations. Plus you can try and convince a player who has zero interest into joining you, and they can tell you what you need to do for them to join your club. So say you're trying to sign an old legend when you're in a non-league team. They say, I'll come, but I want a better defense and I want a bunch of new coaches. Maybe you could go out and sign that better defense and look at getting the new coaches and say, is that good enough for you? Like, yeah, I'll join. And he joins. These agent interactions are taken straight from the real life footballing world. So basically, to sum up pretty much all the features we've covered so far, these recruitment changes follow the theme of immersion. So the final headline feature that has been announced by SI is end of season. So we'll kick off with their headline quote. In FM21, we want the end of the season to mean something, not to simply blur into the next, end quote. So this has been broken down into two subheadings, celebrating success and end of season review. So in the celebrating success subheading, we got brand new trophies presentations. So quote, confetti cannons, podiums, the media, and the cups and trophies themselves all add to the event. You might even witness a lap of honor too if you're lucky, end quote. Now that's massive. They're adding a real presentation value to the game, which is really needed because the presentations of the trophies were pretty much the same for everyone. But quote, and don't worry, if you win the title away from the pitch because a rival drops points, your trophy celebrations will be kept on hold until your next game. So you always get to witness that magical moment, however it's secured, end quote. So after you win a trophy, there'll be media hype around the team after the game and questions tailored to your success. The focus won't just be on the titles. If you narrowly avoid relegation on the final day of the season, things will also be celebrated. If things don't go your way, the players will appear disappointed and dejected at the final whistle. Again, working on that immersion. Now the last subheading is end of season review. So there's brand new end of season animations where financial information will be broken down. Of course, how you went, like your moments to forget, your moments to remember. And another big thing that I think is, not a big thing, just a small thing, but it makes a big difference, is all the awards from the season will be presented at the end of the season as well. So it's like all your player of the month, or your manager of the month, you know, maybe even goal of the month if your league has a goal of the month. There will also be snippets of social media reactions to the season. So this is another quote. Seasons now end with a bang, giving you not just more of a visual conclusion to each campaign, but all the crucial data and information needed to make adjustments and go before we go again. End quote. So overall, it's going to celebrate the achievements more and make you feel like you're making an impact, I guess. Alright, so that's everything they've released in the video and in the articles on Twitter this morning. I might have missed a few little details, but I'll put all the links to it down in the description and you can have a look for yourself if you want to read over it. So they have said that they're going to release more announcements and regarding features and stuff coming up to the release date. So the beta is dropping in about 3.5 weeks. Well, roughly, it's 2 weeks before release date in about 3.5 weeks. So it's closer than we think, and I'm really excited. Like, reading through these changes are amazing. You know, I just think it's so much more immersive now, and it's going to be like, there are lots of like little changes, little tweaks, but I think the whole playing experience is going to benefit so much. But let me know what you think down in the comments. I want to know what your favorite feature is, whether they disappoint you, maybe you wanted something else. Put it down in the comments. This video took ages to make, to get all the footage and get all the stuff out of the article. So if you could please drop a like, it would mean the world to me, and subscribe for more Football Manager 21 content. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.